like we preached about last time, this is no time to skimp out on anything. Just
and
make sure that
you hit the nail on the head there, Lyle. I'm sorry, I started talking over you. No, I was going to say that I think you hit the nail on the head because these first events of the season are so critical because, like you said, everybody's stuff is apart. Everybody's made a bunch of changes, and it is really high time to, retorque things, check things over, check every fastener, every nut, every bolt on that hot rod, lines, fittings, because, if something's been sitting all year or maybe been sitting in your trailer a good part of the winter or whatever the case may be, we're not all blessed with big, awesome garages and shops, Make sure you're going the extra mile on that maintenance because it really can make all the difference in the world. It can be the difference between straight down Broadway or an aborted run and sliding around, skating around and bouncing off walls. And Lyle, having Lyle on here to talk about the importance of just having your safety, to think that Ziff Hudson was able to get out of that car and had not even smelt smoke, it really speaks highly of modern day safety equipment. And the stuff's there. We're all quick to overnight the next new hot rod gadget thing that'll make our car pick up a couple hundredths, but we're not nearly as fast to act with the stuff that might save our life.
I would love to know how many overnight packages Shannon Davis and Sebastian Domingo have sent, with the AMS and the profiler and stuff.
Absolutely.
But I'll be damned if many people have overnighted their, the newest fresh air system. You're right. That's spot on.
Well, and we're all guilty of it. I mean, I know that it's one of those things. My dad owns an auto repair shop, and I would always laugh because people would come in and they'd buy, an air intake, and then they'd buy exhaust, and then they're going to buy a heads and cam deal, and then maybe they're going to put a blower on it. And the next thing you know, you've got a real hot rod, and it's got stock brakes, stock seat belts, no cage, no safety equipment whatsoever. I mean, we're all guilty of it, every one of us across the board, because the safety part's not nearly as much fun as the speed part. But they go hand in hand, and I think that really for me, I think I can shout and scream and yell and do all that I try to do. But having you on here, Lyle, to speak from experience and knowing that those items, visor down, gloves on, get the right boots, we really can't say it enough.
No, you sure can't.
Yeah.
We had a small scare, nothing major, but I mean, simple things like checking your wheels, we had torqued, everything was good. I torqued the wheels before that morning, and I turned off the end of the track and broke a front wheel. Fortunately it wasn't after a big wheel stand, or I wasn't loose. I was turning off the end of the track and wasn't going that fast. The car slid to a stop, in a very short distance, and we were able to fix it. But, there again, you've had them apart over the off season. I was at Pete Harrell's shop the other day, and we were out there with Brad Edwards has converted his car to over alcohol and whatnot, and we were looking over his firewall and where they taken the intercooler tubes out, and there's less wiring and blah 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 up front with patching holes up. If you made some changes, taken some things out, drilled new holes for more stuff to go through the firewall, make sure that stuff's sealed up, because fire has no mercy, and if it's going to find a way through there. Air's forcing it that way. Make sure you're good and sealed up, because like I said, fire shows no mercy at all.
Zero. And I know that we take what we're talking about, guys, everybody watching, and we got a heck of a crowd on here. We take these things very seriously, but I don't want it to be bad news every time I get Lyle on the line. And by God, buddy, I want to give you a chance to talk a little bit about the shot heard around the world in Jason Digby's dart. Tell me a little bit about the quickest pass in the history of leaf spring drag racing.
Man, it was we knew that it was coming. I guess we knew what its potential was. It was kind of a crazy deal how Jason and all of us got hooked up. I know everybody probably remembers Chad Branson and his the P101 dart in X275, all painted up like an single turbo car. Him and Jason got to talking several years ago, and we were like, Chad just said, hey, if you ever need somebody to drive it, let us know. And not long after that, Chad drove it a little bit for him. We went to Memphis, and we went the fastest on nitrous for a Mopar. I drove it that weekend, went 456. And I don't think the car had been faster than a 470 before that, or maybe it had been a 468. Anyway, so we bent his arm and pulled his finger and talked him into going turbo. Jeff Burns built the motor out there. They sent the car, motor and everything to Eric Yost at Customs Bob Biggin in Mooresville. He did all the conversions. Pete Harrell with HED got all the motor stuff right. We got the Holly on it, got it tuned up, and first outing was in Georgia. I think it went in the 450s. We were just really messing around. We've been testing at Darlington Dragway. Russell Miller, the house that he has rebuilt. He's got Jimmy Bradshaw down there.
Absolutely.
And they really have that place working, man. It's really a nice place, and they've worked with us, and we've been testing. I went 440s in it, and we made a few changes. We left the shop. I called Jimmy. I said, get on the tractor. I'm stopping at Darlington on my way to Bretonton to fill this thing out. And we got there. Track was ready. We unloaded, went a 38 and then a 31. And, we got in the motorhome, and Pete's like, this thing is about to haul ass. We get to Bradenton, and, it went 429, and we wicked it up a little bit and went 427. And, for Jason has worked so hard on his program. He's done so much. He's put so much time, so much effort, and a lot of faith in us. He lives in Fulton, Mississippi, cleans teeth for a living, and his car's sitting here in North Carolina, and the only way he knows it still exists is through, pictures and text and whatnot, and we just tell him, hey, this is what we're going to do, and he gives us plenty of words of encouragement and sends us on our way. And, for him, it's cool to be able to drive it, to have been the fastest in the world on a leaf spring is cool, but, all the credit really goes to Jason. Pete Harrell is probably one of the most, if not the most underrated tuner out there. The man, he knows what the hell he's doing, and he knows. He tells me before I get in, he's like, if it sticks, it's going to go, and sure as what, it has. But it's a pretty simple, there's nothing just spectacular or special about it. It's a fairly simple. It's got the assassin bars on it, and pretty sweet set of Mark Mentor's the new Leaf Spring Nation shocks, and we've just got it figured out, and it is far from over.
I was just getting ready to ask where you felt the end was for something like this, because for those that aren't intimately familiar with what we're talking about here, a 4.27 second lap on radial tires on leaf spring suspension, it's hard to fathom. This is it really speaks to the technology, not only the power these cars make, but the ability the tuners have to manipulate that power and navigate these things down through there. I know you just said that you feel there's more in it, but how far can this deal push? Be pushed? Is it a testament of these tires, the power management equipment, the shocks? What all do you attest this to?
It's definitely a combination. You really got to be on top of your tuning. The tunability of the car it's a little more finicky on the leaf springs, but you got to have just an even combination of chassis tuning and then your power management. We keep wondering, are we going to run into the limitations of a leaf spring? We don't know yet. But we know for a fact that the car is going to go faster than 420s. I'm a firm believer, or we are fairly sure that you're going to see we'll just say a team very soon. It's still got plenty left in it. And we're on a 275, and we're at 3,200 pounds. So we've got a lot to play with. So I think with Minster shocks are just unbelievably working. I mean, they are just spot on every time. But the tunability of the car, we've got Shannon Davis on board and AMS Sebastian. We got the Holly EFI. We're running one of Dave's Performance transmissions, and then obviously the Burns and Pete Harrell horsepower,
which is serious.
I really don't know where it's going to end. We're not going to stop until it just won't go anymore. I can tell you that. But I think it's far from over.
Well, we're excited, man, and I'm anxious to see that hot rod in action again here shortly. I guess we'll see you next week, right? It's kind of amazing that it's upon us. The big one is upon us.
Yep, and I do want to thank Greg Slack. We're running one of his converters, and we called him in Bradenton, and we're like, look, when we get home, we'll bring the computers and the data. We need you to look it over, and he's whipping us up a new converter as we speak. So a huge thanks to him if he's out there listening. He's worked hard with us, and I'm excited. Like I said, Pete Harrell at HED and Eric Yost at Customs by Big and Jeff Burns, and then most importantly, Jason Digby. Obviously, my dad has kind of fallen in the background here of late. He and I did our own tuning and stuff for a while, but he still is as much of a part of my success and in racing as anyone else. And I just want to thanks Dad, and I love you for it, and we're excited and see where it goes next week. Got a little first round of qualifying grudge race with Jeff Clemens and Terry Taylor in their Fulton powered Nova. So see how that goes.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, man. It's been a while since I've been this excited to go to a drag race. Thanks again for taking the time, Lyle. And, hey, we'll see you in a couple of days.
All right, man. Sounds good. Thanks, Wes.
Lyle. See you, buddy. Well, hey, guys, it's already 10 after. Are we still going to be able to try to get Tyler Crossing on here? Let's see if we can...